어떻게 침대를 또 이분
Oh my, hi guys. I'm just so suddenly in. Hey everyone, should I have given you more time? Hi, let me see. I'm back. I'm just saying hi from my new place. So actually, don't mind. My mom is there too, like making bed right now. Hi guys, how have you been? All right. Hey, hi, hey Noah. Hi. So thank you for joining. I will bring my chair. Just 1 second. Actually, I know I didn't have a plan anything, but I just like wanted to say hello. Last time I did in my life was when before my move, and finally I am done moving to the new place. So I just wanted to say hello to you guys. How are you guys doing? Hi, thank you so much. From Italy. Ooh. Where are you guys? Anyone from? It's going so fast. Have you guys like? I know this is like in America. It's like lunchtime, and I still haven't eaten breakfast. So I was thinking like, what I'm gonna make. Hi guys. Hi from Boston. So good to see you. Is this okay? I can give you a very slight tour to my home, but this is like a studio. It's a pretty small, not much here. But one fun thing that I created was I will show the lighting later. Hi, eat Oreos. I know, but my mom actually preventing me to eat Oreos these days. She's been keep feeding me kimchi. And actually, I've gotten love kimchi lately. Hi, Alex. I am feeling great. I am so grateful that movie was really quick. I mean, I didn't really have much stuff anyway, but my two friends came over and he helped us to move the bed. And my mom and I was like moving sofa. It was so heavy. And I was thinking, oh, it's like no wonder why when I was even escaping from North Korea, I had nothing with me, and I have so much stuff. I didn't realize it. So, yeah. Las Vegas, it must be warmer than there than in Chicago. Chicago has been snowing so much lately, and actually, I really miss the sun. It's been a while since I saw the sun. Let's see. Let's see the questions. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Where is that? Hello from Manhattan, New York. Oh my god, I miss Manhattan, New York. Thank you guys. So, cold Sweden. It's very great in Chicago too. Anyway, so today I can do the few things with you. So I told my mom, like, Mom, what if I make some like North Korean eggs? And she was like, oh, you're not as cook. I mean, she doesn't think I'm a good cook, so she said like, just don't do it. I live in Chicago. I live in is it like Chicago Midwest? I'm not sure. I'm in Windy City, Chicago. How long I have been in America? So it's so funny. I came to America officially. I think it's gotta be January 2016. So what, like 5 years ago? But in 2015, I was visiting a lot because my agent was in New York. So I was like going back and forth. But basically, I moved permanently like in 2016. So that's when the President Trump came in. So I did not know how. I mean, the first America that I saw was so divided, and I asked people like, "Is this how America has been always?" because I was really shocked how divided it was. And they were like, no, it's not. You're just seeing a new, special time in America. Let's see. Can you make the eggs and show us? Maybe I will make a video about it, how I make a North Korean eggs, because eggs are such a fancy food in North Korea. Like all I wanted was egg. So I still have like 2 dozen of them in my freezer. So how old is my son? My son is 3 years old. I am thinking what should I do for him when he's turning 3. And he got to see the snow yesterday, so it was really nice. So what can you say about Zaka Parker has spreading propaganda? So I think I think you're talking about some Indonesian mayor, right? He goes to North Korea. He took a lot of footages there, and showing the elites or the side that the regime wants the world to see, right? The fact he was able to recording it means that the North Korean regime was allowing him to record it, and therefore it has to be all set up. So I mean, I don't think. I don't really hate people other than Kim Jong Un. Really, that's the only person I hate. So I'm really fine with it. I mean, in his consciousness, if he thinks that's a good thing, I'm sure that's a good thing. But I just personally don't think that's what's needed to romanticizing and this dictatorship and the regime and the country. This is a threat to whole humanity. So I don't know why he's doing that. But thank you, Lizzie. Started watching your videos a few months ago and you changed my perspective of the world so much. Today got your book. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Estonia. I always want to visit Estonia. Cave, have you seen a James Bond North Korean movie, Die Another Day? If so, what do you think about it in terms of how it shows North Korea? So I think I have seen it on the airplane. So is that the where they are trying to buy diamond? And just James Bond is very was that like they were saying some North Korean guys are like bad guys in the movie? And I actually really have to watch it again. I did see it on the airplane, but I don't think I was really paying attention to it back then, and my English wasn't even good. So but thank you guys for lately. You've been ordering so many my signed copies of my book. It's been really fun to sign it. I'm shipping them out on Thursday, which is tomorrow. So thank you for all the orders, and I'm so grateful. So let's see. So thank you. Okay, I'm thinking of the right movie. So I have seen the diamonds. Some guys got the diamonds on his face. I remember some like few scenes. But would you ever become a citizen? That's what Victor asked. If among you, any of you guys are like immigration lawyer, please reach out to me. I think I am eligible to become a citizen in 3 weeks. That's what I heard from my lawyer when I was getting my green card. So they told me once you get green card and it takes 5 years to become a citizen. So when she told me when that 5 years mark comes, she said that you can apply for a citizenship. But I'm not an immigration lawyer, so I'm like actually waiting. What should I be doing to get a citizenship? But I would love to. What a dream come true. So I cannot wait. So Grady asks, has your mother considered writing her own book? She would have many stories and historical insights to tell. So I did ask her, and I also asked my mom, my sister, both of them. And unfortunately, even writing my book, and I had to talk to my mom, my sister, but it was like so painful of them that they really didn't want to like think about it again. So I understand it though, like sometimes the memories really become so unbearable. I I watched some like a movie about like erasing your memory, and I thought like, oh, if that kind of technology develops, I think I might be volunteering to erase some parts of my memory. And luckily, I didn't get to live in that system for 40 years. My mom lived in this system more than 40 years, so it's way more harder for her to think about it. So yeah, she said no, and my sister said no. And that's the thing, like a lot of times people think, oh, North Koreans trying to get attention and that's why they're making up all these lies. But like, guys, how many defectors do you see actually? And also talk about politics. Most of defectors are afraid for their life and their also family members. And also most of them, it's so hard to think about their past. Most of them just want to have a private life, and that has been very hard for me to fight. During this fight, there are not many distance, and unlike the people who fighting for other countries like Venezuela, like Iran, Iraq, like so many distance I meet from that country, like Cuba, but not many of them from North Korea. So Nicolai is how I say name. Congrats on your new house. Yeonmi, we might not always agree on politics, but I admire your life. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Yeah, I actually really appreciate that. We shouldn't. The worst that I can imagine is like when everyone agrees with me. That's basically North Korea. Like, why does anyone want to be in the world where everyone thinks the same way, right? The variety of thoughts, the way how we think, and how we process facts is should be different. That's how we become better. So, I really appreciate that people disagrees and give me keep new thinking and new challenges. Uh, Unfinished sentence? Is that how I say? Have you heard of North Korean's Room 39? Yes, I have, and I know I actually, guys, I was going to do the live today soon with one of my fellow defector. He's really high ranking, and he was worked for Room 39. And I know other few defectors who worked for that room. So I will do more about that room and what that means. Because basically, this Room 39 is a within North Korean party system. They made like this bureau entirely dedicating making foreign currency for the Kim regime, Kim family. So they are like job is do whatever it takes, selling the drugs, selling the weapons, and hacking, selling their own people, human trafficking, sending their laborers to Middle East, to Africa, and then make the foreign currency and give it to Kim. And that's how they are the ones making Kim Jong-un the richest, one of the richest guy in the world. So Christopher, good to see you. My wife and I just finished reading your book and loved it. Will you sign hardcover versions of your book to purchase? Are you writing a new book? I will definitely sign the hardcover for sure. And am I writing another book? I do want to write again. I love writing. It's such a healing for me, and also it's another way for me to understand what happened and the events that I went through a lot of times makes no sense, right? Like people saying how the countries like North Korea can exist and no one does anything about it. And that is a question I have too. Like humanity looks so wonderful. Like there are so many people are passionate about, not killing animals. I whenever I walk by in the Michigan Avenue, Chicago, the Canada Goods store, these people are so passionately come out and talking about this ducks, baby ducks life. And I'm touched by that. Like I feel like, oh, humanity is good. But then like I see this another the side of the humanity that we're completely be so, very cold to another human. And I think writing always helped me to understand more who I am and what it means to be a human and what it means to live with other people and how to process the world. So I actually thought about writing a book about trauma, but I'm still like not sure because there are so many books about trauma, and the experience that I went through is so like different, right? Most of people don't born in North Korea and escape and like walking through the desert. They don't do that. So I'm not sure, like, is it going to be relatable? Is it going to ever help anyone to help them? So that is the only thing why I keep like debating about right now. So Eric, Edward, sorry if this question is a bit of downer, but do you think North Koreans are finding it harder to get out? Also, greetings from UK. Thank you. I do think it's very hard. It almost like it became impossible to escape out of North Korea right now. So like literally in South Korea, like a few months ago, there's like each time they gather them every 3 months, they send out the defectors to South Korean society, and only one got out, and only 15 of them total this year and last 2020, and 2021 is like zero right now. So I think the world will see less and less North Korean defectors from now on after Kim Jong-un became in power. So the thinker, I recently started experimenting with the stop motion. I was wondering what you would think of a community-based stop motion based on your life, since Hollywood wouldn't invite you. I don't know what stop motion is. Sorry. Please enlighten me what that means. Thank you, though. So, Grady. Okay, so let me see. The questions goes up so fast. Okay. And so Adita, Shina is how I say. What do you think of Gandhi Nonviolence civil disobedience movement for freedom from Britain? So well, the thing is, guys, Gandhi is like one of my heroes. I think the violence is never an answer to anything. So I definitely have so much respect. And also, yeah, the Indians had the courage to be using that method, really higher method, right, to be independent, and also eventually Britain to acknowledge it was also another step, because like it's not like I'm ever, so I got very careful. So it's not like I'm ever romanticizing or justifying colonial time and in any way. But the thing is, people keep asking me, right, like why there's no uprising in North Korea. And the thing is that the regime, their tolerance towards disobedience, has to be some way in the range of tolerating at least something. So so a lot of the factor might, at least you can ask him to, we talk about the fact there are struggle to be democracy in South Korea, even in America, the Martin Luther King Jr. fighting for civil rights, and the Gandhi. It is possible when that power is not absolute pure evil. So there was a room for you to be having a voice, even you get assassinated later, have a chance to say even a word. But that doesn't exist in North Korea. The regime is complete, absolute evil, and they do not accept any kinds of little disobedience. If you do that, they are gonna, get rid of 8 generations of your family. So if you commit some political crime, like saying, ripping up a newspaper or the book that has Kim's photo, that is up to 3rd generation. But if you actively go out, tell your neighbor, this system is not good, let's fight, then they're gonna go after 8 generations. And this is why we have to, the fact that those people existed, right, the Nelson Mandela existed, is there's no way we can compare any of those, what we call the bad, governments or whatever that is, to North Korean regime, because there's no comparison for it. Like you look at China, right? There was a Tiananmen Square. There was the resistance happening in Beijing, and what they did is they used a tank and ran over them. And And when that kind of system is being like that, there's really not much things for individuals to do. And that's why it's very hard for me to learn from Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr. Like, how do I start that in North Korea? Right now, that's impossible because we have a different regime. So Copper Brown asks, if the North Korea North-South border opens, one, everyone turn against Kim family for lying to everyone. That is again like, right, like when the people right now turn up and go against the regime, the like literally regime gonna use the machine gun, shoot them all and kill them all. And like they planted the landmines against their own people so to prevent escaping. So putting the machine guns on the border wasn't enough for Kim Jong-un. He doesn't even have electricity for the people. He used a highly electrified wire fences on the border. So using all the electricity for that, and then on top of machine guns, and then on top of the landmines. So no one can escape. He literally said to the people in the border guard, says that do not even let a single ant cross the border from China to North Korea. And this is the thing, is we are talking about different evil here. It's like I don't think humanity ever has seen this kind of evil other than Stalin's, camps or like Holocaust. This is like something I cannot even find that in the history books. Like, how can be a regime this much merciless? So Victor, I admire so much. I'm making a school presentation about North Korea. What should I talk about? Well, I'm fighting for human rights, so that'd be wonderful if you talk about human rights, because human rights is not something people these days talk about or care about, and I think more people talk about and care about, I think it's gonna be better for all of us. So Michael, is that how I say Michael? You're doing an amazing job. You know why Vietnam is not preferred route out of North Korea, and instead of that, Cambodia and Laos? Greetings from UK, yay! So Vietnam is still very close to Communist Party in North Korea. So they do get captured in Vietnam and then sent back to China, then sent back to North Korea. Therefore, even sometimes they do that in Cambodia and Laos. I mean, believe it or not, guys, do you know like how many countries are friendly to North Korean regime? You'll be really shocked. So therefore, it's unfortunately we want to go to Vietnam. We want to go to all other countries, but the Vietnam still has a friendly policy towards North Korean regime rather than the people, and that's why we chose other routes. MB. So are you worried about the regime retaliating against you? I hope you keep all of information secure and be extremely safe. So here's the thing, right? I like, of course, like South Korean intelligence keep warning me, like, oh, your life is on danger, and I hear these things, right? And it's not like somebody's speculating. The South Korea have really nice intelligence, so I'm sure they are telling the truth to me. But the thing is, like, when your enemy is like your neighbor, there are things that you can do to secure yourself. But when a nation, a dictator, a country is against you, Kim Jong-un has a technology to hacking banks. He has technology hacking hospitals and even South Korean military or even US. So no matter what I do, if the Kim Jong-un wants to hack me, I will be hacked. So that I had to surrender first. And two is Kim Jong-un has the guts to kill his half brother in Malaysia, who was actually protected by China. This is a crazy dictator we're talking about. Like literally, China was protecting Kim Jong-nam, the half brother of Kim Jong-un, because the Kim Jong-nam actually had a more favored view to Chinese regime, and Kim Jong, like, of course, doesn't care and then kill him. So really, as an individual who is fighting against a dictator like a nation, not much left for me to do to secure my safety. That's why almost like I think of my life as almost like a random luck. it's like almost I don't think of it's like up to me if I want to live. It's not really up to me. It's really up to the dictator when he wants to get rid of me. So that's why I don't take like tomorrow for granted. Like the day that was given to me today, I gotta do my best to do the things that I believe in, that I want to achieve in this life, because I don't know when he's gonna take that step. And yeah, so it's not like being even sad. I gotta be very logical about it. In the beginning I was very scared, so even when I was like spoke at the UN and going to my hotel, I'm going like by myself, and I was so afraid like, oh, someone can come inside my hotel and just shoot me, because there was like a lot of North Korean delegation there. But now I'm just thinking about it more like the logical sense. There's really nothing gonna help, even if I be fearful of this regime. It's not up to me. So I'm trying to go down to the, let's see, historic monuments in. So, are there any historic monuments in North Korea? Could you 224 asked? I like your name. You're very cool. So, are there any historic monuments in North Korea? No. And if there is, I think there is one that I saw on a North Korean documentary. It's because North Korea was trying to legitimate the Kim's dynasty. So they made a big, huge tomb of the first king of entire Korean peninsula, even though it is actually located in the south. The North wanted to get that legitimacy, so they made a fake tomb. And so, I mean, you can say those are historical monuments, but it's not based on the facts, and it's also serving the propaganda the regime wants to do it to the people. So that's why I'm saying, like, no, everything in North Korea has to be the Kim's monuments, and even though every other part has to be dark, every single monuments, they estimate something around 50,000 monuments in North Korea, not including the banners and all of that, and they all have to be lit every night. So hey, Yeonmi, do you have contacts from North Korea? Yes, I do, but I cannot tell you guys who it is for their safety. I do have contacts with North Korea, but the thing is, like, I had a new novel, right? It's not like only me having it. The amazing thing about it is that all these defectors, most of them, like 80% of them, are making money and sending money to their families through the brokers in North Korea. But the only difference is that the context that we have is some of the defectors actually have a context in the party in Pyongyang. And those things that I try to get more, but having a context in North Korea is very easy, relatively easy than like getting someone to escape. So if anyone wants to, I mean, not anyone, but yeah, so getting someone in North Korea as your contact is not as hard as long as you have contacts in the border town in North Korea. So is there any heir of Kim Jong-un? Yes, I think there is few. So one is definitely coming from between him and his mistress Hyun Sung-er. And according to what I heard, they had a son in 2012. And I mean, there are so many recent news saying that Kim Jong-un and Lee Seol-ju didn't really work out because she wasn't able to give a son to him. So, but even though, so let's say if he doesn't have a son with Lee Seol, his wife, main wife, he still has a son with the mistress. But the thing is, those are the only two women that we know of. And usually the North Korean defectors have a lot of wives. So, he might have a tons of boys from his mistresses. Because like Kim also coming from the third wife, right? His mom was also mistress. He's not coming from the first main wife. And that's why it's always possible that next heir coming from a lot of other mistress that he got. So what would happen if you went back to North Korea today? Oh man, that's a good question. I thought about it too. I think so. The result is gonna be the same. But the thing is, North Korea might be a lot cleverer than what we think. So you guys might think like as soon as I go back, they might execute me, right? That's like a normal traditional law they do. But because I was a bit known to the world, I think there's a chance that Kim Jong gonna torture me to the point that he breaks my soul and then makes me to worship Kim's in North Korean national television and their propaganda channel on YouTube and make me confess that everything that I said about the regime was a lie, that the CIA was training me, South Korean intelligence were training me, and I was like threatened to do saying those things, and now I'm back at the motherland where my beloved dear leader is. So I'm saying this because there were my North Korean friends in South Korea who's been on TV shows with me and she was got captured in China. So she was South Korean passport, but she was a defector. She went back to China, and during in China, the Chinese security informed North Korean agent saying that there's North Korean defector who was on South Korean TV came to China. So China helped the North Korean agent to capture a kidnapper, and they brought her back to Pyongyang. So even though she was like is now South Korean citizen, guys, like me, exactly like in my situation, and then they made her to denounce South Korea and capitalism and of course democracy, and she says, she was threatened to say all those things on TV because they threatened her, and now she was saying how grateful she was coming back to the motherland, and how amazing Kim Jong Un is. So I think, and now she's gone after that interview, so maybe she's either be in a concentration camp or executed. And I think that would be pretty much my case for me if I ever go back. So what do you think about India, who is crushing in China, the North Koreans' main support? I know I love India. So many people I know from India. I do think India is such a, for me, it's like I cheer for India. Like I want to see the democracy wins. Democracy is not as efficient as dictatorship or authoritarianism, and it's quite messy, right? So in order to solve things in democracy, it's a very messy process. However, the alternative is us being all slave to a government, to the big government that doesn't represent our best interests. And that's why I see that, and honestly, right, economic development, of course, China went faster because they were under authoritarian party. And India has been, of course, improving, but it's taking slower steps. I do acknowledge that. But the thing is, in the long game, we don't know which one is gonna win, and that's why I cheer for India. I cheer for Indians to prove that, when we take charge of our own destiny, not the regime, that the future is better for us. So there's so much value us not being a slave to the government, and that's why it's like India is in a very special place in my heart. And I know I'm talking about my previous marriage, but I chose to actually to go to India for my honeymoon, and that's how I was like how much it was I care. I went there. I went to Mumbai, and then we drove through India to until the Bangalore. I didn't go like Goa or those like tourist destinations. I just want to see how just general like Indians' life, how they live. We didn't have like a driver. We had a stick car, and in like literally we don't know how to drive a stick car, and then we couldn't go up here, and people just got out of their cars and they pushed our car for me or like drove it for us. And they were such a good-hearted and pure people. I just really fell in love with the country, and of course I fell in love with the Indian food like everyone else. So let's see. Gianna is how I say name. So if North Korea become independent, or if North and South Korea reunite, would you go back to your home village? Of course, guy. Like I do. It's like my dream is going home. when I left my homeland, in the beginning, I couldn't even say to goodbye to the people that I cared, I loved, my neighbors, my friends, the teachers, I mean, like my relatives. I couldn't even say goodbye. And it just makes no sense, like why anyone have to go through this kind of, you know, this kind of thing. So, like when defectors escape, it's not because they hate the people or the country. Like we love our country, we love our people. Just only things that we didn't like the system, and honestly, more likely we just couldn't find food to eat. And that's why I'm trying to free my country so I can go home, I can go back, and North Korea become the part of our world. And I know, fortunately, a lot of technologies like in Silicon Valley, and right there, like now mission is conquering the moon and go to the Mars and become a multi-planet species. And it sounds fabulous, right? Right, maybe someday the resources on Earth gonna expire, we gotta move on. But it's so bizarre, like there's not even one single talented person, right, trying to explore our Earth yet. Like we haven't explored North Korea. It is a big part of our world that we cannot even go, and they cannot come out. And rather people will explore other planet than our own Earth. And I love Earth. This is my home. So yeah, I hope just more people come out and want to explore our world than going to different planets. And I have nothing to against it. It's such a noble notion, and it really increased our technological advances. But it's just too sad. Like nobody's here to do this fight, in the world. So thank you, Burps. Is that how I say? Berpsi. Um, so there's somebody said my grandfather is North Korean, and my grandmother escaped, and my North Korean. Elizabeth said, yeah, but the thing is like the fact now, like we have to say North and South. Like back then, right during the Korean War, there was no North and South Korea. Like now, do we say someone from like Texas or someone from like Chicago? Do we say like North USA and South USA? We don't say that. And yeah, I mean that you consider to be North Korean, and just the notion is not good. Like in South Korea right now, they keep saying, "Oh, North Korea is not our country." And now we are being treated in South Korea as foreigners, even though we are the same Koreans. It's really sad, like how this tribalism and how try to like differentiate their groups than others. It's the same humanity. um, Francisco, having letting coming regime survive was a grave mistake. I agree. I really agree. Like, imagine, guys, Taiwan won, and today's China actually is under Taiwan's democratic rule. What a plus! What a huge achievement for humanity, right? And imagine, like even Vietnam, like if the South won, the under the the democracy won, what a huge win for entire humanity, for Vietnamese. We never ever gained, anyone gained by letting the communists win other than the dictator themselves. Nobody won through that resort. And that's why I feel so sad. Like, Taiwan lost and we might lose Taiwan. Hopefully not. And we lost Hong Kong. And it just, that's the thing, we gotta be vigilant. Like freedom is not free. Like this is something somebody fought for it to, for us to be free. And that's why it's our time to fight for it. So our children do not live in the regimes like CCP or North Korea in the future. So Saptar, she's how I say name. So what do you North Korean schools teach about history of North Korea before coming Seoul? Do they teach about the rich history and civilization of Korea in Joseon and Goryeo era? So the history in North Korea is literally forgotten. They do talk about North Korea a little bit in the history, but it's all like manipulated. They say, how the Korean kingdom began in the north, not the south. and how it was directly linking to the Kim Il Sung to take it over, and but they don't really like North Korea calendar begins when Kim Il Sung was born. So the most of time that even the highly educated people in North Korea do is like spending 98% of time memorizing Kim Il Sung's revolutionary history, not a general history or not a learning about science. It is all learning about Kim's how great they are, and that's why it's like even though North Korea, and that's why this country can't even generate electricity in this 21st century. So Sport Gaming is how I say name. Thank you. Thank you for your activism. What is the South doing to build a diplomatic bridge and help the suffering people of North Korea? Do you think it is enough? So South Korea right now, current regime is really disappointment. He's a communist himself, and his dream is making South Korea into North Korea. So he's doing everything he can to please the dictator. So there are like two types of helping North Korea, right? This is like what happened during the Trump. Like I know you can never win when you talk about Trump, but I will. Like in the sake of diplomacy, it's not enough to sit down with a dictator and compliment him. Like you gotta achieve something through that diplomacy. But because of diplomacy, just talking to somebody, engaging with somebody is viewed as peaceful act. People would give everything for that act. It's a lot of times those acts doesn't do anything. Like you think about the UN guys, right? If diplomacy would solve the world problems, the world problems should be gone away right now, right? The UN, we founded, let's solve the problem through diplomacy, and what happened? We did not solve like anything. The world is a huge mess right now, and so that's why I think diplomacy itself just isn't enough. We need more to solve world problems. But guys, right now, actually, I have my fellow defector came downstairs, and I said I was going to do the live with him, and you can ask him anything about the system and love affairs, entertainment, anything. I will bring him, joining with him in 2 hours time, guys. Is that okay? So I will see you soon. I hope more of you just can join and get to know his story, and also because he knows so much about the region than I do, and it's gonna be an honor to have him introducing him to you guys. So I cannot wait to see you, and guys, have a lovely lunch or wherever you are, because I'm gonna about to have some lunch. Bye guys, love you, see you soon. Thank you so much for joining today. It was so fun. I think I'm leaving now. Thank you guys.